lighting up. That's not much fun. Let's have that on. Let's have this white light off, otherwise I'll never sleep.
Yeah, that's switched over quite nicely.
Did it? Okay, have to turn those white lights off. I will never get to sleep. Guys, is this going to behave itself? Have we had a rebirth? That's my question. What I've done is I've pulled the repository for this RPG, and it's saying that we have a non-matching editor. This is typical when you come to try and upgrade. So we just continue, and we just let Unity try and do the conversion for us. So let's just see while it sits there. And it's going to try and convert from one set of APIs to the other. And it shouldn't take too long. Float like a butterfly, drop like a brick. I like that. That's really cool. Thank you, everybody, by the way, for being here. Obo, Irresistible Jamie. Oh, Matitious? Matitious. If you don't mind playing games with these intense lights, then it's fine. I'm not sure what you mean there. Place both monitors. Oh, cool. It was like a little blink. That's cool. So it's pretty easy to switch. So I'm going to treat the phone like, as I say, like a sidearm just for fun. This is I was watching a thing. There's a great YouTube channel. I've got to show you this YouTube channel because the humanity of this bounty hunter is amazing. I don't remember his name. Is Casey something? I don't know. I mean, I do Krav Maga. I love like self-defense stuff. But let me see if I can find this. This is Bounty Hunter. Just see if I can find it. I'm going to share with you a particular video. Patty Mayo. Now, this guy does nothing
out loud.
Nothing like what you would think he's like. As a bounty hunter, he just looks like a thug. He's completely not a thug. Let me just see if I can find his axe video. And I just suggest you have a quick watch of it. It's really interesting. Here you go. Just have a look at that video sometime. Not the sort of stuff I normally would recommend. And ignore the beginning. Skip past the first literally 5 minutes. Because it's all just him plugging his YouTube channel. And then watch for his humanity as he goes about his job as a bounty hunter and escalates and de-escalates the risk level as he needs to. Absolutely nothing to do with game development, but just something different, something for the weekend. So let's. I'm going to put these glasses on as long as they don't reflect too badly because I'm a little bit knackered now with all of that. And turn the screen down and see how Unity's doing. So when Unity does this conversion, if it's a big game and there are a lot of assets, it's going to do a full asset re-import. It's going to do that anyway because of the way I've got my version control set up. If we look into source tree, and I'll give you a little bit of a look into source tree as we do this. By the way, if you find anything that's useful, in the rare event you find anything that's useful, then hit the click button, of course. So what happens in source tree, of course, is we've got a Git Ignore file. Well, it's not really in source tree, it's in the version control has a Git Ignore file. If we look on the disk, then we have this stuff, but if I show everything, then we will see have a Git Ignore file here. And if I go and have a look at that Git Ignore, by the way, if you have Atom installed, good text editor, Atom dot from the terminal will open everything in this folder. So here I am in my Unity project, Atom dot opens everything in the folder, boom, there we go. And I can very easily there get to the Git Ignore. Now, the Git Ignore excludes, in a Mac and PC friendly way, library or library, depending on capitalization. It excludes library, it excludes builds, it excludes a few other of these folders. And a lot of the assets that are cached, when you see Unity doing what it's doing, importing here, that data gets itself stored into those folders that are ignored. So every time you do a clean checkout in your source control and go back to a previous state, you lose all those cache, the cache that gets built, and you have to rebuild it. So that's one reason that's happening. And the other is, of course, I'm upgrading my version of Unity. So all the cards are on the table then. Who knows what Unity are going to do when that happens. But this is mainly happening. So right now it's starting to push a few new things in. These new things are probably things that are only there because we've upgraded to Unity 2018. So we're getting some metadata about ambient audio and music. These very things we're seeing here are telling us something about the differences between the different versions of Unity. There's a different manifest to do with packet management. There's a preset manager. There weren't presets in previous versions of Unity. I'll show you inspector presets at some point. There are some different meta files to do with ambient audio and music. So a few things are changing, and you can see that reflected in the files that Unity has already started changing before I've even opened the project. The world is changing on the disk. And of course, also on my disk, I'm going to be having folders now like a library folder. And that library folder will probably contain quite a lot of data. Let's go and have a look and see how big it is. So if I go to the RPG, the library folder would have been empty when I first did a checkout. If I get the info on the library folder now, it's up to 500 megabytes. So that's 500 megabytes of derived information. It's not information that I created. It's not value I created. It's stuff that the machine has just done as part of the import process. I want you to bear in mind when you're making projects and working that you can't actually produce value very fast. I don't mean that in an insulting way, but literally from a bits per second point of view, if you're typing, you can only produce a certain number of characters. Maybe, if you type at 80 words a minute, even continuously, that's maybe 80 times 5, 400 characters a minute. It's not many. It's only 400 bytes a minute of new value you can possibly be creating. Bring a mouse in, you can create some more. But basically, when you're using version control, you want to make sure that all the stuff that's derived, you're excluding. We certainly don't want 500 meg of stuff that's in that library folder going to the version control, because it's not real source information. I know that because I can delete it and reopen Unity and it can recreate it all. Okay, the new value that has been created is just a few tiny text files by Unity here, which are doing things like telling us that we've upgraded the editor and various other small manifests and the like. So that's the type of stuff you want in version control. I'm tempted to immediately just do a micro commit on that. I'm going to branch to say that we are doing the prototype here. And then I'm going to commit to say that all we've done is a very simple Unity 2018. Opened in Unity 2018. You wouldn't normally commit this, but just by way of example. And then we're off the ground. All right, so we have opened in Unity 2018, push that to the web, and you guys will be able to see that change. If you go to GitHub, I'll go get you that link just once more, and I'll share it with you, and you can see my commits as they come in. I'll give you a link directly to the branch. Yeah, don't add anything to source control that can't be generated, that can be generated, exactly. Don't add anything to source control that can be generated. You want to be only adding new value, and generally you can't create it that fast. The fastest way you can create it is to record video, of course, because what have we got here? We've got a level. I don't want this level, so let's just... what I was doing is I was saving before I committed to source control, hopefully, or did I not bother? I probably didn't bother. It's a good habit to save, and sometimes it's going to ask you, where do you want to save this? I'm just going to look into Rick's Village, see what that's looking like. Yeah, leaving the cache library folder. You'll see the ignore file, by the way, guys, over here on the source control. So here, prototype updated 19 seconds ago. So the branch I'm working on is here. Boom. Awesome. Over there. Do remember, by the way, our Discord chat server, over 3,000 people live on that typically at any one time. That's pretty cool. Thank you very much all for being here. Please do subscribe. The streams normally work well. We don't normally have as many technical problems. We're going to get technical problems on some of the streams, right? We'll do our best to work around them. We're going to build a checklist to run before the streams, but things always happen. It's always the unknown unknowns, and until we've done a bunch of streaming, there's always going to be a long tail of things that cause problems. It's just what happens. So that's the branch that I'm on, and here we are. We're in the editor. I'm just going to play the game for a minute. I will just make sure that Unity's sound is on, but that it is turned down. So presumably that's coming through as Unity Hub. I bet about other apps as well. And let's try. Been a while. Been a long term. Welcome to Twitch, the home of technical difficulties. Yeah, well, at the end of the day, it's live, right? So anything can happen, including really loud glug sounds from a water bottle. These water bottles, another thing I should put on the Amazon. Should is something that never happens. Don't try not to should all over yourself, guys. So instead of shoulding, I'm going to start making a list of the Amazon affiliate things that we need. What do you guys want to know about? Of the equipment I've shown you, what do you want to know about? So we've got the sound tiles on the wall. I know people have asked about the microphone and its accessories. You probably may want to know about this water bottle. It's really cool. It's a Camelback. You can put ice in there and it's like ice insulated. I'll put the Camelback on there just for a bit of fun. Yeah, whatever. A Stream Deck maybe for you aspiring streamers. That's a pretty cool bit of equipment. Might put the Mac itself on, just in case we can convert any of you to the dark side. So if you want anything, let me know in the chat. That would be cool. Let's see how this game is going. Assertion failed. Here we go. So this is going to be the first thing that's going to trip me up in this new conversion to Unity 2018. For some reason, the floor. A good chair helps. Hey, you know what? The chair I've got is really cool. It's a human scale chair, so I'm going to put my chair on. Yeah, I tried a load and it's really comfy. And the standing desk. I've got a really cool standing desk. It's not actually a desk. It's just it's a mechanism for the desk. Wow, we'll have a massive list of things. So, all right, so I need to deal with this. So all brand new for me. Let's see what happens. Let's get in and see what's going on. My objective tonight is just to get this game running in Unity 2018. Now, it's obviously got some more strict issues and checks in here, so let's have a look. Assertion failed. Please provide villager female with an animator override controller. Okay, so by the way, with some of the asset stuff, of course, Mikey will help with that. Not a huge amount of point in me opening Visual Studio for that. It's saying, please provide villager female who's just sitting out here, not in an NPCs folder, for whatever reason. We'll tidy that up later, with an animator override controller. Oh man, I've got to get my head back around this. So there is no animator override controller for this character. And what this allows us to do is switch out the animations at runtime. Now, I wonder if they are doing anything like deprecating those. Let's take a look. Can you hide or move the poll? Oh, is there a poll on there the whole time? Is it annoying? Yeah, I would prefer the poll wasn't on there. And yes. Well, yes, okay. Let us know, Dr. Argus. Thank you for letting people know. Can you just move it yourself? And does the poll work? That would be the other thing I'd be interested to hear. Anyway, let me see if I can find a animator override controller. Where is that? I wonder if Mark remembers where we kept our animator override controller. Did we keep that? You know what I'm going to do? Am I going to ditch the female? No, I'm not. I'm going to have a look and see. Did we used to have the animator override controller on a separate game object? I don't quite remember. I don't really know why. We've got a bunch of guys just hanging out here in the middle of nowhere. So, yeah, I'm in the right place. I'm definitely after Rick's last commit. There's no dominant... You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to delete these new characters that are just sitting out here. It's a heavy-handed way of doing it, but we will... we're just trying to get it running, right? And we can always put these characters back. So, most important is we get it running. So we have an array index out of range in the peasant. Now, what's the problem there? So it's saying that that's in the weapon system. So if we go to the peasant and we look at their weapon system, and it has a base weapon config of rod L0, it seems to all be okay. So I'm going to kill the peasant as well. This is a very heavy-handed way of dealing with it, isn't it? But it'll be fine. Ah, it's running. Do we have any sound? We should have some sound. Maybe it's too quiet. Turn it up a little bit because the sound's quite funny in this game. Now, does it come under other apps? Does it come under Unity Hub? May come under no sound whatsoever. So are you guys able to deal with that little annoying poll? Environment hit, are you missing a component? We'll worry about that later. I'm just trying to work out which of these controls. That's the sound. Wow, that's loud. I thought we had music. Maybe we turned the music off. I bet you that Rick decided that he was completely fed up with the music. And that is a strong possibility. This is not looking as I remember it at all, but this is what it's like, guys, to be going back to a game after a long time. This is why we focus on all these good practices, right? When we say think about yourself in 6 months' time, you know, I say that in the courses. I'm like, write the code for yourself in 6 months' time or for somebody else. This is me in 9 months' time. Really can't remember how my code works whatsoever. Of course, I'll get back into it, but it's going to take days to get back into it. So I just wanted to point that out. Now, the player has an animation event hit has no receiver. This was a bane of our lives. So what happened here, and it's quite interesting, is if you want to be, where is the animation on this player? Let's have a look. If you want to be a little bit agnostic to which assets you're using, you need to be really careful of things like the idea that an animation has built into it a parameter like calling like hit or something like that, because if that happens, then you get the animation has a little event that says call a method called hit. If that method called hit doesn't exist, then you can't call it, you get an issue. So let me just see if I can find this player's animation and find where that issue is. So give me just a second. And I shall see if I can find the animation. I'm not sure where it is. It shouldn't be too hard to find. Characters, if we're well organized. Models, player, that's its animator override controller. There's the player itself. Slightly surprised that it's probably going to be in here. So let's go look at the player, see if we can find his animation. The animator controller is there. So what I'm going to need to do is go into here and talk about him being probably in attack. It's probably this default attack animation. I don't see any animation events on that, which is interesting. Whoa, he's got a big blend tree. Wow, he's a complicated character, this dude. All right, I can't see his animation event at the moment, but then my machine's not responding properly. Okay, look, I'm not going to worry about that for now because I remember dealing with this in code. In fact, let me see if I can find it in the code for you guys. It's quite interesting where we try and say, hey, we've got we could have animation events going off in some assets that we've imported from the outside, right, for some third-party provider. We don't want that to be to mess things up. So what are we going to do about it? And I'm just going to go and see if I can find that code. So somewhere it's oh wow, this is a lot of codes. Why it's so important your code's easy to read, because otherwise you're going to be in a lot of trouble when you come try and look at it months later. Honestly, right now none of this means anything to me. It pretty much means as little to me as it does to you, and I wrote every line of this, and it really means nothing to me. But so it's not whether you can immediately understand your code, it's how quickly you can get back into that code, right? So now I'm trying to understand where this thing is. So in an animation that's provided by a third party like Asset Pack, they can specify things called animation events, and they specify a string. And if you don't have a method that exists that uses that string, you can end up in trouble. And I'm very sure that we wrote code to prevent that problem from happening. I may not have done. I may have imagined writing that code, and I may have thought, hey, that would be a cool idea if I wrote that code. I can't quite remember where I got to. So I'm just going to go and have a quick look and see if I can see. And if I can't, then remove animation events. Here we go. So I did write some code that tried to blank out the list of animation events on a particular animation and start afresh. So shouldn't really be getting that error. I'm not sure why I am, and I'll look into that in the future. So what I need to do is comment my code. It doesn't need to be dealt with right now. To do, look into this still happening on the player. Okay, cool. Save that file, and we're good to go. Back to Unity. Let's see how well this plays. Also slightly concerned there's no audio, but we'll live with that. No music, but we'll live without that. I'm pretty sure Rick would have just disabled it. The feeling when you understand 70% of the code, yeah. I'm going to need to check the chat in a minute. If there's any chat, if any of you mods or anybody else want to bring any questions forward, that would be awesome, because obviously I've been struggling tonight. I'm pretty tired as well, and then technical issues, so it's been difficult. I haven't been monitoring the chat very carefully. So here's our RPG. We've got our cool village we can go around in. We've got a couple of special abilities. We've got this one here, which has got some dodgy animation hit event in it. We've got a heal, which is working, but took a huge buffer there. I'm not sure what that was buffering for. I can't remember where we go. Where did we go? We've got a bridge over here somewhere. We've got some health and some energy. Oh, it's all so much fun. These environments are awesome. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. There we go. Well done, Rick, on the environments on this game. Absolutely awesome. So, all right, the game runs. We have an animation hit event. It is a error there, but I can't see that that's a particular problem. It's not stopping it running. Thank you very much for the bless you. You know where bless you comes from? First person in the chat who can, there's not going to be any reward for this, but can any of you tell me where bless you comes from? Why do people say bless you? So it's running. Now what I'm going to do is, I'm going to commit, actually. I'm getting a lot of pausing and messing around. Something somewhere is not happy. Maybe there's a solar storm affecting everything. That's not impossible, by the way, but you can actually just check on NASA's website if that's what's actually going down. Interesting. Where am I branched off here? Show all branches. There you go. So that looked like my history was wrong, but my history isn't wrong. I just wasn't showing all branches. So what have I done in this commit? Quite a few things have changed. Some user preferences, a little bit of a comment there, few little internal changes to some prefabs, but really not very much. I have just basically got it running in 2018. So by deleting 3 characters. I think it was 3. We'll be able to see on here what got deleted. If we actually look into the ricksvillage.unity. By the way, if you're wondering where you would see what did I just delete, it'll be in the ricksvillage.unity. These were instance characters, and in here there'll be a bunch of things that I deleted, these game objects here, and if you want to know what they are, then you're going to have to cross-reference these game objects IDs, and it's a bit of a pain, but you can grab the unique IDs for these things, cross-reference them, and work out what was deleted. So if we need to, we can. Not going to worry about it too much. Yeah, stop your soul leaving your body. I don't know. I heard that the origin of it was the plague, the bubonic plague, which of course these days could be solved with normal antibiotics, but back when it happened, it was not so good for people. And I've heard that if somebody sneezes like that, it was the first sign that they got the Black Death or the plague, and that therefore they're basically a goner, and it was like, bless you, you're out of here. So I don't know if that's true. I think that that's a good summary, Pocket Nerd. It's something to do with religion. I think that's probably about right. So I've achieved I've been streaming, what, an hour now? Yeah, and I'm really tired, and I've achieved what I wanted to, I hope. Let me go and have a look. Let me go have a look on the Twitch page, on the events page, and just see what I said that I would be doing tonight, and see if I've got it done. This is the other thing to be honest about, and okay with yourself about. Okay, had a load of problems. You have to just motor through those. But it's when you start a new thing, there's a huge amount of resistance to that. So when you're going back into a game, and I do really advocate you going back into games that you've worked on before, even if they're years old. And you know why? I'll tell you why in a minute. I'll finish this sentence. The sentence is, when you go back into something for the first time in a long time, it's going to take a lot of mental and emotional energy to get it moving. So give yourself time and space. That's why this entire stream was upgrading to Unity 2018. I dust off the project and work on 9 months ago, starts by upgrading to Unity 2018 and charting which Unity features could improve the game. Okay, that's what I promised, so that's why I'm going to do that before I finish the stream. So that was the first thing, is just start slow, build up your speed, go, like this, exponential. The other thing that I think is worth noting is, I've completely forgotten. So dusting things off after a long time, going back to a project, taking a lot of energy. Nope, thoughts completely gone. Very tired. Doesn't matter. Okay, let's go back into Unity and take a look. Unity Hub, remember these days in Unity 2018, has all this version control, which is awesome. I don't any longer need a beta version of Unity 2018.1, so I can just callously remove that there, which is quite fun. And then I can just go and reopen the demo. And I'm going to just start thinking about, very early thinking about, what's different in Unity 2018 compared to 2017 or before, and what of those, features might we want to consider using inside the RPG. Now, I'm not going to consider the things that you have to go and get from Unity's GitHub. I'm just going to consider the things that are freely available inside the menu systems. So basically, it's going to be a flick through the menus and have a think about that, and then go from there. So I'll try and open this demo again. I say demo, it's not really a demo, it's a game. Look at that, 4 instances of Unity, that's what you want. Looks like another instance is running, looks like another instance is running. So singleton pattern, guys, here. Unity is running some sort of singleton pattern. So eventually one of these will run, and it's this one here for the win, I think. Or not. There we go. Looks like the project's already open. It doesn't look like the project's already open to me, Mr. Unity. Let's try it again. May not like me doing this while it's doing a massive overhaul on Visual Studio. Do you guys ever find yourself doing that, clicking update and then wishing you hadn't? It's like, oh yeah, I'll do that massive update. Oh no, I was supposed to be getting some work done. Yeah, happens to all of us. Now that's interesting. That's very interesting that it thinks that I haven't changed the version when I have. So, okay, we'll let it go through that process. That suggests to me that there's something I'm ignoring in the version control that I probably shouldn't do. So you know what I would be doing here? I'd be going to GitHub, Unity.Git Ignore, like that. And I'm going to go and get the latest, which is this one here, Git Ignore, GitHub, Git Ignore, Blob Master Unity. I'm going to go get this Git Ignore. I'm going to just copy it, and I'm going to update my Git Ignore to that now, because I really want to make sure that I've got the latest for this version of Unity and that we're not missing anything, because I think it may have been ignoring a file that says which version. I thought I saw that file, but anyway. What's my present working directory? If I could type straight, it is that. And so let's just go and edit this Git Ignore. Pro Grid and Pro Builder would be cool. They're in the package manager now. Yep, that would be pretty cool to look at the level editing using those guys. Also know that as Mikey's going to be working on environments, it'd be good to get working with Mikey on the whole environmental side and where we use Blender, where we use Pro Builder, and how all that works. That would be cool. I'm in a slightly strange folder here for whatever reason, so let's just go back up a folder. I did check my directory, but it was didn't really register that I had an XS on the end, which is the wrong subdirectory. Now what I have in my copy buffer is the no, this is strange. what am I doing wrong here? pwd ls. Oh, look at that. I'm in a that's why I'm in a .vs/finished demo. That's what's going on. I want to be here. Okay, I'm in the right place now, finally. Hey, thank you very much, Kahan, for subscribing with Twitch Prime. I really appreciate you guys doing that, even despite the fact we've had some issues. Quite a lot of difference to this Git Ignore file, so that's good. We're going to roll with that and commit that to version control. By the way, the Git Ignore file is in itself in version control, which is quite interesting. I might just do a sole commit that is updating this Git Ignore. So I'm just going to say update Git Ignore for Unity 2018. I'm assuming that the version that's on Git is the latest best practice. I'm not getting too into depth about why. And thank you, Mark, for thanking Kahan for subscribing with Twitch Prime. You guys may or may not know that if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can link it to Twitch. And once it's linked to Twitch, you can use that, if you're not using it for some other inferior channel, to subscribe to our channel. That would be really awesome. So, all right, so I've done the Git Ignore, and now hopefully the project will open. We'll run through some features, and then we'll go from there, leave it for the evening. And then I've achieved what I said I was going to achieve. Started slow. Tomorrow we're going to do more stuff. I think on Friday, I can't remember when it says on the Twitch stream, I am streaming with Rick. Let's just go back to our events. And here, Game Design and Scope is on July the 5th with Rick. So around about this time of day right now, in 2 days' time, Rick and I will be talking about the game design and scope, where we're going with the RPG, so that'll be fun. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing more about version control and really getting the history right. I'll probably set up a new repo, push it somewhere different completely, really think about how I want to manage version control and collaborators on this. May even throw the door open to you guys collaborating. How would some of you guys like to actually push code into the actual RPG prototype that we then, after a review, use it in the final courses? How would you like to do that? If you like the idea, then slam us up with some bits or some leafs or some yays in the chat, however you guys roll with that. Okay, when you first open Unity, you get a bunch of errors. Don't raise his hand, would love to. Yes, that would be cool. Yeah, it'd be great to have some of your code in there, guys. So what have we got? Compiler errors. Otherwise, billboard lighting won't work. So what's the root of these compiler errors? It's going to be one of these guys here. Bridge DLL could not be found. I suspect that the problem is that I'm opening Unity while the Visual Studio update is happening. So that would be cool. All right, so I'll think about that in tomorrow's stream. Thanks for that. So for now, I'm just going to focus, before I actually fall asleep in the chair, on what we're going to use from Unity 2018. So I'm just going to have a quick look through, remind myself of what's different. UI elements schema. Oh, we could look at UI elements. That's a possibility. Let's see what the new deal with UI elements is. Now, what else do we have? Text Mesh Pro. I think so. Now that that's built in, of course, they bought that from the asset store. That would make some sense. Text Mesh Pro. Ragdolling, maybe. It's not necessarily new, but it's just given me an idea that it'd be quite fun to have some ragdolling. Definitely looking from the package manager point of view at using the new Pro builders. Tile map already had. Oh, look, hexagonal point top tile map. It's not really the type of game we're doing. Anything new in lighting? Not really. Components, anything. What else have we got? Any other ideas, guys, in the chat as to what ought to go in this RPG? I don't want to up-spec the RPG. It's not the point. I want to keep the RPG as simple and tight as possible. The point of this is to think about what new features could actually make our lives easier. Text Mesh Pro, we've talked about. UI elements, we've talked about. Okay, let's go and have a look at the package manager. Yeah, 5 a.m. start. I won't be long. I'll be finishing this stream in a moment. Where do I get to Unity's default packages these days? Presumably it is in the hub. Over here into installs. And then add a component. And then what have we got? This is one part of it. Mac, etc., etc., etc. Now, okay, it's not there. So where do we get to the package manager? I suspect it's going to be over in here. Window Package Manager. A little different on Mac and PC. So by default, we're getting ads and analytics libraries and in-app purchasing and the Text Mesh Pro, etc. Right, what is the here that's worth looking at and exciting? And relevant to this game, more importantly. Cine Machine is sitting here in the package manager now. We will be using Cine Machine. I'm going to put that on my list. So that's cool. Entities, ECS. Bit of an open question for me. It's really early. Look at the version number, 0.0.12. The idea of using the entity components for separating out data and behavior. I don't know. Maybe. See, it feels a little early to me. Post-processing, new post-processing, probably Pro Builder. Yes, big one on that. For level design, I think I'm actually going to get Pro Builder installed. We're definitely going to be looking at Pro Builder for you. Pro Grids, probably not so much. Shader Graph, maybe Shader Graph. Yeah, maybe we do a little bit of visual shader scripting. Does that sound fun? Let me know. So maybe a bit of that. What else have we got? We've got a big pause, not like a dog with big hands, but you know, a big delay while we wait for Pro Builder to install. I think I can actually see the whole bottom of this. Vector graphics, not really feeling it. So I'm saying shader graph, UI elements, text mesh pro, ragdolling, maybe. Cine Machine and Pro Builder. Which of those are you most excited about? Yes, there's a bunch of other improvements in the terrain builder, not significant, but there's going to be a lot of improvements through the fact that we've now got Pro Builder, which is a whole new way of drawing things. Shader Graph and Pro Builder, you'll be happy. Awesome. That would be good to know. Update to 2.08. Why did you give me version? Oh no, ads. Sorry, you can see I'm tired. I thought that was saying that I need to update the Pro Builder that I just installed to a new version. It's always fun when you add a brand new thing and then it says update it. Whether we'll be putting ads and analytics in here for the actual release of the game, probably, is a simple answer. Now, I need to get Visual Studio sorted. So I think that's it. I've reviewed it. Top of my list, I think, is going to be... Text Mesh Pro. It's got to be in there. I think we've got to have Pro Builder, Shader Graph. I would say they're my top three. Text Mesh Pro, Pro Builder, and Shader Graph. Remember, guys, you can create clips. If you want any clips about this stream, that would be great to have them. Remember that Mikey's going to be on an hour and 42 minutes earlier than this particular time right now, or half an hour earlier than this stream started tomorrow, and then I'll be following straight behind that with the RPG. So there's a whole series there. Please remember you can subscribe at a variety of levels. Normally the stream will be smooth. Hopefully the audio has been smooth since we shed our upstreams. I'm not entirely sure what did it, but we will create a checklist for future so that we have less and less problems. Can't guarantee you no problems, but I can guarantee you the number of problems will reduce over time. Going to have a quick look for questions. I'm so knackered that I think I'm going to say the only questions I'm going to take at this particular moment are going to be subscriber questions. And if you start your question with a leaf, it'll stick out really nicely in the chat. So you get a leaf like this, #GDTV leaf, or just start typing, not hash, :GDTV leaf. You'll get yourself a leaf like that. If you've got a final burning question I must answer tonight, put a leaf up on the screen, followed by your question. I'll answer it, and then I will go to bed. I'm going to commit this now. I was up really early this morning, I've just realized as well. So review of Unity 2018 features to consider. I won't store it in here. This isn't the place for that information. It's on my pad over here, and then that will end up in our project planning, which you might get to see the behind the scenes of as well. So that's all committed. I've achieved... Oh, killed the chat, of course. I've achieved what I came here to achieve tonight. Much more messy, slow, and ugly than I thought it would be, but sloppy success is sometimes the way to go. So :GDTV leaf didn't seem to work for you, Bit Gamey. I think that's because you're not a subscriber, but for effort, I'm going to answer your question while I wait. Any time frames? Yeah, Twitch has a dark mode. Thanks, Mark. It's as if like, stop showing us all this horrible white stuff. I'll see if I can find the dark mode. I think it's entirely up here. Boom. There you go. Are there any time frames we might see RPG Part 2 for purchase? No, I really don't know. It depends on how long it takes us to prototype it. I wish we could prototype it overnight and have it out tomorrow. What I can tell you is that both Rick and Sam will be available in several weeks' time. And once Rick, Sam, and I are all on it, it's going to move really fast. In the meantime, it's going to be a little bit slow while it's just me getting my head back around the project. But we will get there, is what we're after. Visual Studio old. This is right in the middle of an upgrade. I'm going to reboot the machine in a minute, let Visual Studio finish its upgrade. So thank you very much for being here. Just to answer a couple more questions. G Wolf, thanks for being a subscriber. Will the new RPG content be a separate course or part of the original? Don't know yet, to be honest. I just don't know. It's almost certainly going to need to be at least one more course. We've always said it will be in 3 parts. I think it'll be in 2 or 3 parts. And that those other parts will be additional to the original core combat part of it. But it'll be great when it's finished. Just got a load of work to do. :GDTV leaf if you want the leaf. That's how it all works. That's our first custom emote. I might change that into a question mark so that we can use it for questions. And with just a few more subscribers, we get our next custom emote that we can upload. So that'll be fun. And that's it. Have a little look at the front page of Twitch. It tells you a little bit about us here and about the different levels of membership there. Thank you to all our subscribers at all levels. It doesn't really matter which tier of subscribers is right for you. And yeah, that is a colon, isn't it? I think that's a colon. So yeah, that's it. Awesome, guys. I'm going to stop and I will see you soon. Thanks very much. And hopefully tomorrow I will also achieve the stream objectives with less fuss at the beginning. Take care. Thanks for being here.